How's everyone doing? This is your boy, Lil Thaddeus Craig. All right, what's this one going to be about? As promised, it's going to be about Llorona. Now, what exactly has caused this phenomena? Two things. Number one, I do believe most likely it was, or she was originally a ghost or a spirit that, of course, was transcended from a woman who most likely, in a desire to maybe get back at her old man, her husband, or whoever it was that abandoned her, maybe her children or their children reminded her of him, and she snapped. And of course, the guilt, of course, caused her to take her own life. There are, of course, legends of her trying to rescue her children, and she drowned trying to do that, after she had thrown them in the river. It's a real mess. And that right there tells you something. People don't understand what exactly could possess a person to do this. Obviously, grief, rage, anger, these are powerful elements of energy. Powerful. And this, of course, I believe definitely when she died, it left all that negative energy and that, like I said, it's powerful stuff that left something behind. A lot of times, I believe firmly when something is not finished, or you have unfinished business and you feel that you have to continue going, something is left behind after your soul transcends the mortal coil. That's what I do believe, and that's almost what I would say I know. I've seen it. I'm talking about spirits and things that should not be. That's all I'm going to say. You guys know the things I've seen, even the things I've done. Believe me. This is definitely something that I believe Llorona is part of. You have to understand, when a person feels there's unfinished business, and there's a lot of that anger, grief, even self-hatred, it lingers for a long, long time. Just like joy and ecstasy. Some ways more so, because we're more hardwired, ironically, to remember the negative than the positive in our lives. That's a survival mechanism, which was kind of hot-wired into us genetically. So therefore, to me, it's only natural that when something like this happens, again, there's something left behind that can't let this shit go. That is what I believe Maria is an example of. Point blank. Now, of course, you have to understand, this ghost or entity has been seen throughout Mexico and, of course, near the border. I'm just letting you guys know there's a reason for that, I believe. And that is because, of course, so many people have definitely thought of the legend, they locked onto it, as naturally going to feature an entity, quite a bit of energy and strength. And so there's definitely, I think, a correlation between that and, of course, where I say the mental mind, the mental energy from the mind manifests things into physical form. I believe it's that too. So it's kind of a combination of both, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, what's so interesting is where, to me, it's like where women tell their kid, mothers tell their kids or whatever, parents tell their children, you better behave or she's going to get you. Well, think about it. She killed her kids. She's going to get your kids, I mean, it's very interesting. There's even been stories of her trying to kidnap children in order to replace them for the ones she lost. And I think that's scary right there. Do I think anything's possible? Yes, because enough energy can give a physical entity, how can I say this, a metaphysical entity, physical form to a degree. There's definitely something up with that. Just saying. I mean, it's crazy stuff. I've seen some interesting things, leave it at that, when it comes to that as well. The metaphysical definitely interacts with the physical in more ways than you can imagine. So, what exactly is Llorona's fixation with waterways? Well, there's a couple of things with that. Number one, rivers and lakes and things like that, they seem to be a conduit for supernatural energy, for one. Number two is because this woman is obviously tied, her story is tied to that of she drowned her kids, she drowned herself. So naturally, she probably, think about it. Well, origin comes from that. That was the type of death that she had, so naturally it's going to be a type that her spirit seems to function around. These are things in itself that are very different than what you give it credit for. But at the same time, it's quite understandable as to why. And that really is what fascinates me about these type of things. La Llorona was actually one of the first ghost stories I actually ever read about when I was a child. I also saw a special on ghost stories in Texas. And to me, it just fascinated me. I'm kind of surprised I haven't done this before now. But there you go. I'm not going to put much more out there. I pretty much put my 2 cents in and what little I know. And of course, I want you guys to think for yourselves and just figure things out. Like I said, I'm not a ghost hunter. I'm no hunter for the paranormal. I just more like it stepped right up to my face and right on my front doorstep, whether I wanted it to or not. If you get my drift, that's my experience when it comes to the paranormal. So either way, that's just how things go. But either way, if you guys have had any encounters or anything of the sort, hit me up at westvic@iamdarkwaters.com. You guys be blessed and you be safe.